Hey, what's up, everybody? Jim Cyril, Tanya Klein, and Jeri Klein here from Coverage Inc., or should I say Jim Klein? Because, hey, can I be a Klein? Can I join the Klein? How do I get to be a Klein? I'm inclined to be. Okay, anyway, how you doing today, Jeri?
Good. How are you guys?
We're
Hang in
doing
there.
great. Doing
All
great.
right, so basically, Jerry's here, which means it's time to answer your questions again. So
Yay!
let's get to it.
All right,
Okay.
Jeri, what do you got for us? Reader,
Yeah.
Coverage
Question
Inc.
number
questions.
one. Mark the Shark asks, thanks for the great coverage on my script. I got so-so on my marketability score, and I have a question about that. The coverage says original fictional sports dramas can be difficult as spec scripts, but they make sports movies all the time. Can the reader please give a little more insight into what they mean?
Okay, so
Good question.
let's start off talking about sports movies in general. So the thing about sports movies are that they don't necessarily travel all that well in overseas territories because a lot of sports movies made in the U.S. are about baseball and football, which are as American as apple pie, as they
American
say.
football.
Huh?
American football.
American football. Yes,
Yeah.
otherwise I would have said soccer. But so basically they're very, US focused sports. And in other parts of the world, people simply don't pay that much attention to, in particular, baseball and football. Soccer,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, but even about soccer, I can't even think of many, movies about soccer except maybe Bend It Like Beckham. But so that would be reason number one, so that you have a limited audience. And
Yeah.
even when it comes to the domestic side, sometimes the audience is still quite limited because it's one of those, oh, I love to, watch Monday Night Football, love college football, but am I the person who then goes out and goes to the movies and watches a drama about college football? Maybe not. Also, is, your significant other going to come along? Maybe not. So all of these things make it a bit difficult.
Yeah, all of that is true, and there's the most like what the industry is looking for are real life based sports stories that people know about. Not like this happened to me or something. They don't care about that. But if it's like it achieved national attention or something like that, and you've got the rights to the story and you write it up, they may be interested. But here's the thing, like sports dramas, they tend to be very formulaic. We've all seen that underdog story where the person rises up and then it looks like they're going to succeed and then they have a crushing failure and then they rally and then the team fights, but it's like Mighty Ducks. There's so many movies that have
Rudy.
this formula. Yeah, exactly. That they're considered kind of played out, so they are a tough sell as specs right
Yes.
now.
And so basically, just to add to that, what Jim was saying before, IP. Because the guy asked about an original sports
Yeah,
drama. So again, that's why if it's something that people are aware of, then it's IP. It was on the news 5 years ago. It was a huge story. It's IP.
yeah. If
That's a good
there's
point.
something, if there's something about it that's really unique, not just an underdog, triumphing against the odds story, you may have a shot. Maybe if you kind of mix it up with another genre, maybe try to find some way to bring some freshness to it. But in and of itself, just like an original sports drama, yeah, I think our reader was pretty much on the money there. It's gonna be tough. It's not necessarily impossible. A great script can always rise above. But and there's always those few that break through. The exceptions that prove the rule. But there you go.
Good answer. Okay. Question number two. SX722 asks, in your video, you said that we should not waste our time on contests that the industry doesn't pay attention to. Can you tell
Yeah.
us what those contests are?
Well, all right. So
Sure.
here's the thing.
Yeah,
First
we
of
can.
all, yes, we can. But first of all, the reason why you should not waste your time on, middle of nowhere contest in nowhere cinema film festival, is because it's money. It costs money, and we're writers, so maybe we don't have all that much money. And because even if you win, even if you win that contest, don't put it in a cover letter, because the first thing an industry professional will say is, "Oh, this person does not know what they're talking about, because nobody cares about this particular contest."
Right.
So not only will it not help you putting it in a cover letter, it might actually actively hurt you.
Yeah,
So
the industry doesn't care about the contests that or festivals that they don't care about. That's
yeah,
really what it comes down to. And there's a very small, which is what this person was
is
referring
asking
to.
what are the industry approved, quote unquote,
Right.
contests. Well, there are a few. The nickel, of course, is the big one, and as I'm sure everybody knows, they changed the rules like a couple of years ago, and
Last year,
it's very
just last
difficult
year.
to
Yeah.
even submit. Which is, so basically, you can submit via blacklist, but there are very strict rules in place for that as well. Or if you're currently in one of the approved film schools, so that's very difficult. But yes, the nickel, they definitely pay attention to. There are a few others.
Slam Dance.
Mhm.
Scriptapalooza, especially on the TV side, is for some reason Scriptapalooza TV. If you're a TV writer, definitely look into Scriptapalooza TV. Yeah, what is it? 1%, you said, Tanya, of the.
For the black, yeah. So apparently, what we've read is that when it comes to nickel, via the blacklist, it's about 1%. I mean, first of all, you have to have like a paid evaluation through blacklist and an active account with blacklist, and then it's 1% of those that they forward to the nickel.
Yeah, which is insane. A total of like 25, right? Maximum of 25.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. So,
Good
okay.
luck.
Yeah.
Page Awards. Hey,
Yeah.
Page has been doing great work for, I think, like 2 decades now. I don't know if I should say this. No, I'm not going to say it. I'm going to skip my Page story, because that would betray a confidence. But Page is good. And a writer we worked with who won a category in the Page Awards did get a deal, almost got his movie made. The financing fell apart at the last minute. But so Tracking B, that's another one. Hardly anybody knows about Tracking B. Tracking B is one of the great, secret weapons of screenwriters. If you can get in the Tracking B top 10 or top 3, there's a pretty good chance you're going to get signed or your movie's going to get made. It's amazing.
Well,
Check
by
out
the way, I mean,
trackingb.com.
sidebar, you should check out Tracking B anyway, just to know what's out there, what movies are hitting the tracking boards.
Yeah. Tracking B is a like legitimate industry tracking board, which is what all the development executives use to kind of communicate with each other. It's like a bulletin board where they say, "Hey, I'm going out with this piece of material," whatever. And you can sign up for a membership and be a fly on the wall. Like, you can't contribute to those conversations, but you can watch what they're saying, which, if you're a writer planning to actually get into the game, is incredibly, like, that's useful intelligence, right? Final Draft, big break. They get people signed. Austin. So I think we need to say with Austin, there is a sort of an asterisk, which is Austin. A lot of the readers are not necessarily.
They're unpaid college interns. Yes.
Yeah,
Really?
that's what we hear. That's what we hear. But they're still, incredibly well respected. They throw a huge event every year. It's a big writers conference, screenwriting filmmakers conference, and the industry goes. So there's that.
There you go.
What else? Sundance, Writers Lab, Script Pipeline. That's another one. And like any of the fellowships, like, again, if you're a TV writer, like any of the real fellowships, NBC, anything like that, like, they break people all the time. There's a lot of like diversity focused stuff. So if you're in that category, I'd look into that.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah.
Here's another asterisk. So those ones we mentioned are like the only ones that I feel comfortable actually recommending to people. And by the way, we have no fiduciary relationship with any of them, right?
And no affiliation whatsoever.
No affiliation at all. There are pay attention to the ones that I did or that we did not mention, right? There are several really well-known contests and festivals out there that everybody's heard of that have been around for a long time that have no juice at all. They're really, I mean, they're scams, really, is what it comes down to. They take your money, they make promises, and we'll get you industry meetings, we'll do this, that, and the other thing, and nothing ever happens with any of them. With the way it works, right, Tanya, it's all about the kickbacks or the honorariums.
Exactly.
Mhm.
So, I mean, basically, to put a very fine point on it, what you have to do is before you spend your money, do your research. And the way you do your research is you look at their success stories carefully, because often the success stories that they present are not actually their success stories. Basically, they give a prize to a writer and a script. And then that writer and that script had success, but not because of their prize, but maybe because of their own connections, maybe because of a cold query, maybe because of another contest. But yet they will still claim this script and this writer, like, oh yeah, this writer won first place, and now, this script is in production with blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah attached. So that happens all the time. So do your research.
Yeah, and the other thing that you need to know is, the honorarium situation. So these industry people that they say they're going to get you meetings with, sometimes those meetings don't happen, and when they do happen, 90% of the time, those people are only doing it because they're getting paid to meet with you.
That's a good point.
We've had a few of those meetings, Tanya, and it's like, so did you even read the script? Why are you meeting with us? Like, they're like, oh, so let me give you my pat answer for how to break into screenwriting. Like, no, we don't care about that. We want you to, like, don't waste our time.
Yeah. So anyway. Again, coming back to research, research, research.
Yeah.
Good answers. Okay. Number 3, Chris_theater asks, I'm moving to LA this summer. I've enrolled in the UCLA professional programs and I'm going for my master's in screenwriting. Good. Do you have any recommendations for the areas I can live affordably? Westwood is insane.
Affordability in Los Angeles. If you find an area, let us know. No, but seriously.
Good question.
I mean, it's a good question. I mean, because of course the thing is you don't want to move to Simi Valley and have to commute every day to school.
That sucks.
So
I honestly think this question might be a little sort of like, we're not relocation experts, but I mean, we do live here. Well, you don't, Jeri, but but Tanya and I live in LA. So, okay, here's the thing. If you're going to go to, a university, UCLA, USC, whatever, in Los Angeles, generally speaking, it's always good to live within like 5 miles of there because traffic, right? Yeah. You don't want to be in a situation where you're going to be driving every day, an hour or an hour and a half each way. The problem is those areas are the most expensive areas to live. So what usually happens in UCLA is you get like a 2-bedroom apartment with 4 roommates, right? And so
only 4?
yeah, exactly. Only 4, right? There might be like 6, I don't know, whatever. I have no idea how to find those situations, but I know a lot of people wind up doing that. And I guess if you're like a young person, that's totally cool. I mean, like I've slept on couches and floors for years, like we all do that when we're young. When you're, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, that's not as viable. No. But look, I mean, what everybody does in LA is they get a place in the San Fernando Valley, which is just over the hill. It's usually slightly more affordable depending on the area. And then they commute into LA. UCLA is just a straight shot down the 405. It's not that far from the valley. And if you go during non-rush hour times, you can probably get there depending on where you are. Like, let's say you live in like Valley Village or something like that. You could probably get there in about 45 minutes each way. So if you
That's
can't,
without rush hour?
yeah, that's without rush hour. Exactly. So
Wow.
if you can't afford, like in the city, which is, the area near UCLA, look in the valley over the hill. Just, if something looks like it's relatively close as the crow flies, just remember once that traffic kicks in, it's not going to seem so close anymore.
Sounds like New York.
Pretty much.
Yeah,
But
but
worse.
you don't actually have, unlike New York, you don't have a good public transportation system.
Right.
So
That's
So
the
you're stuck
difference.
driving.
yeah.
Yeah, if you live in Westchester or Long Island, there's trains. There, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
I
mean, look,
lived on that Metro North.
so did I.
Yep.
Hey, we're rolling out, the metro here in LA, and connectivity is getting better. So there's that.
That's
We should
cool.
probably mention that. They're rolling out a new line along Wilshire right now, which is really going to do a much better job of connecting portions of the city. It's still like kind of nascent, but maybe in a year or two that might be much better. It's still much better
Yeah.
than it was like 5 years ago right now.
Yeah. But good on you for going for your master's and studying your craft.
Yeah,
Good
yeah,
luck.
excellent.
Yeah.
Well done. Well done.
Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
what else, Jerry?
Sure. Number 4, Cold Fire asks, Hi CI, do you have any advice for an Australian screenwriter? A few years back, I wrote, directed, and self-funded a low-budget horror movie that made its money back, although the budget was only $20,000. I mentioned this in query letters, but have gotten no response. I'm
Huh.
looking to make some inroads here or in the US with contained low-budget horror and was hoping my movie would act as a calling card, but it doesn't seem to be moving the needle. Do you have any recommendations?
Well, first of all, congratulations on making your money back, because
Yeah.
so many films simply don't do that.
Yeah.
Secondly, congratulations on working in a marketable genre. Horror is extremely marketable right now. It's basically the only genre that makes money. So great. So then the next question is, what have you done when it comes to networking? I mean, you've gotten a movie made, and, I think it's also a good idea to start making your connections in Australia where you are, so you don't have to fly, get on a plane and fly for 15 hours to Los Angeles. So first order of business would be to make connections in the local film community, which you might already have because you actually did get a movie made. So did you go to local festivals? Did you meet distributors? How did you distribute it? Did you meet other producers that you might want to work with? Did you, who are you meeting? And get in touch with these people, stay in touch with these people, and then also have, another script and more ideas ready to go. So then what you can say is, hey, I've made this great movie, by the way. Here is a trailer for it. You can look at it. It's already out. It's well regarded. And here are my other scripts, and here are my other ideas. Wanna work together? Wanna talk to me? Wanna collaborate?
Yeah. Everything you just said. A key thing to add here, I think, is this person talked about, kind of trying to get interest in Australia as well as here, right?
Yes.
Mhm.
So making a $20,000 movie, unless it gets really, really big buzz, wins a ton of awards, gets like some international play on like international festivals, US on the US circuit in particular, that's not really going to move the needle for anyone in like LA. We don't really care about that. I'm sorry.
It's
Look,
true.
the movie could be great. I don't know. But it's just, I'm glad you made your money back. That's amazing. Like Tanya said, that's like so many movies where that's not even the case. But does it actually prove your, talent or anything? Well, maybe not. But the point is, it's not enough in and of itself. It's a good start, and keep doing it, right? But there's going to be some resistance, particularly on the LA side, because they just don't care. There's a million films that come out to film festivals every year that, never get picked up for distribution or get ignored. And quite a few of them are pretty damn good. We see them all the time whenever we go to festivals, movies that are great that, just don't get anywhere. And it's like, oh, well, you just have to keep trying. But, like Tanya said, the local connection may be key. It may be a lot easier to be a big fish in a small pond. So I would encourage you, look, there's a great indie filmmaking scene from what I've been told in Australia. So, and maybe you're working that angle right
Great
now.
horror too.
What's that?
Yeah.
The horrors
Yeah.
movies that come out of there, so good.
Yeah.
Low
Yeah,
budget,
for sure.
so.
I mean, we've all seen, like Jeri just said, great horror movies that have come out of Australia. They travel, they get to the US. We hear about them. Obviously not all, but the
Babadook.
just look for those local opportunities, and maybe the next one will be the one that really gets some momentum behind it, and get some awards, and elevates you. Sometimes you just gotta keep trying, if at first you don't succeed, right?
Try again.
Jeri, you got one more for us before we break? Because
Yes.
we have to cut this in half because it's going to
Yes.
run too long.
We got
otherwise.
10 so far, so now we have number 5.
Okay, number 5.
Poquito writes, "Hi, CI team. I don't understand this note. The reader said that movies about screenwriters are not desired by Hollywood. What gives?"
Unless your name is Robert Altman.
Yeah.
So if you're not Robert Altman, then no. Hollywood hates everything that's self-referential.
It's true. Look, I mean, that's pretty much the short answer to the question. So every year, I actually asked this question to a producer friend of mine a long time ago, and he just he's like, Jim, what you got to understand is every year the film schools graduate, 1,000 people, 5,000 people, whatever it is. And they come out of film school every summer, and they're with their first script, they're ready to shop, and they've got no life experience. So what do they write about? They write about an emerging screenwriter who gets into trouble. And it's like, there's nothing we can do with these. It's like, go get some life experience, write about something else. So that's part of it. And nobody wants them. But the other part of it is that, Hollywood hates screenwriters. It's not just self-referential about people in the business, which is true, Tanya. It's in particular about screenwriters. Oh my God, no! Oh my! You just pitch that to any agent, manager, or producer, and they'll be like, "What else do you got?" And that's as far as it's going to go. So the advice that we usually give is, can you make it any other kind of creative person? Even a playwright, a blogger,
they like playwrights.
right? A novelist, anything like that. A YouTuber. Let's contemporize it a little bit. Something like that. It doesn't have to be a struggling screenwriter, for fuck's sake.
Tell us how you really feel.
Yeah. So I think that's it for part 1, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, so thanks for watching, folks. We've got more of these, so please come back for part 2, which we will link to as soon as it's posted. Thanks for watching.